Good morning. Good morning, morning, you too. Good morning, morning, you too. Here we come. Daddy just woke up. Here we come. Hi, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I just woke up. Trappa just woke up. Like an old man. Good morning to the Me Cup. We're doing YouTube and Facebook simultaneous right now so that I can do my disclaimer because it's all about the disclaimer. Okay, real quick, kids, before we get the coffee going. I have a disclaimer. My name is Buck Angel, and this is my opinion and my opinion only. And I do not represent any community, any other people's thoughts, processes. I don't represent the LGBTQ community or specifically transgender voices. I represent me, my voice, my transsexual man voice, and my opinions. And I please, please, please encourage you to have your own voice and to challenge me and to challenge people other people's thought processes. I love you guys a lot. And good morning on YouTube and Philip and Crystal and Sarah and Freebird. And I feel like I waked and baked this morning because I got home late and I smoked pot late. Cannabis, I like to say. And then now I woke up stoned. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Smash and Scully. Oh, I love your name, Scully. Angel, good morning, my friend. And Jennifer, I have my coffee. Mm. And Danielle and Cheryl and Patrick. So, Trampa woke up late, but I'm not on the wrong side of the bed. I feel very much like it's time that we discuss identity politics. And hi, Nick. Good morning, Buck. I'm being bullied and harassed online. I'm an older adult who is being threatened with my hormones by Veterans Administration. Oh, Nick. Who's bullying you? Who's bullying you, Nick? Is it community members bullying you, or is it the VA? We can help you out with that. Good morning, Patrick and Sam from Vancouver, and brew some coffee, Soren, real quick. It's nice to see you. Hi, Margaret. Good morning. Oh no! Look, I don't have hair disasters anymore. It's so great to be bald. Good morning, Pete, my friend. Okay, we're gonna get into it here in a minute as soon as everybody shows up. Good morning, Liz. Make yourself some breakfast tea. And then here comes Stace. You know, everybody knows Stace. He's our moderator. Hi, Stace. If you guys don't know Stace and you forget that she's our moderator, remember she's our moderator, okay? So, Philip, I don't wake and bake, but I feel like I woke and baked because I smoked cannabis late at night because I have insomnia. And now I feel stoned because I just woke up. That I don't like. And that's why coffee is important. Good morning, Paula. So Nick says that he's being bullied and harassed online, and he's an older adult who's being threatened with his hormones by the VA, a group of people that work at the VA in Eastern Washington. Okay, Nick, we're gonna send me an email at buckangel@buckangel.com, and let's see what we can help you out with, and let's get you to an organization that deals also with trans vets. Okay. Good morning, Paula and Jennifer and Mel. And I'm so sorry. Ugh. Trampo woke up late. I woke and baked. I meant to say I waked and baked, but I didn't. I feel like it. So, what do you guys think about identity politics? What do you think about talking about identity politics? And what does identity politics mean to you? So, for me, you know what identity politics means. It means people telling us how to identify, how not to identify. If you do these certain things, you can identify. It's so political. Yeah, you can go to buckangel.com, Nick, and there's my email on there. That's easy. But my email address is buckangel@buckangel.com. Good morning, Tori, my friend. And Scully says, I'm in Eastern Washington, Nick. I may be able to help with... There you go. So look at that. Nick, we already got somebody that can help you out. Their name is Scully Jones. And Scully lives in Washington. And they may be able to help you out with some... Oh, actually, you're in Spokane. Spokane? Good morning, Liz. It's nice to see you. Okay, kids. I need coffee really bad. I still feel a little bit out of it. I've been having horrible insomnia, just horrible insomnia. So, thanks, Jamie. I'm totally good. So I'll be in New York City this weekend working at the box. But I might have a tiny little bit of time to meet up. But I don't know. It's super short. I'm like super in and out. So, good morning, Brandy. That's me not being prepared. Fabiola, right on. So there's the Fun Boys. You guys know about the Fun Boys, right? These are the Fun Boys, the new packer that I just came out with. See that? And it comes with a strap. This is also constructed not only for trans people but for cis people too. It's a toy that you could use as a packer, but you could also use it as a pack and play, and you can put your penis in it, which is really amazing, and it's made from the same material that the Buck Off is made. Okay, there. Yes, Smash. I have a terrible time staying asleep. Terrible. Even though I use cannabis, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. Well, actually, every night. Every night I wake up like after 3 or 4 hours of sleep. It's horrible. I don't know. I don't sleep all the way through. Ugh. So, let's not talk about my toys right now. Unless you want to. If you want to talk about the toys, we can. But these are going to go up on the website today. Among the other things. It's pretty exciting, you guys. So, again, it's not about me. It's not about me, it's about us, okay? So we're really excited to have these new products for us. And, God, it's horrible, you guys. I just sleep for like 3 hours and then I wake up. And then you know what? I have a problem getting up in the middle of the night and eating. I have such a problem with that, especially when I'm working out hard. I totally get up in the middle of the night and eat. It's so fucked up. So, what does identity politics mean to you? Good morning, Hope. It's nice to see you. Philip says, been irritable too. Yeah, it's the end of the year. Everybody's getting irritable. But it's the end of the year. What does identity politics mean to you? To me, it means that there's so much opinions about who, what, where, okay? Who, what, where. So Liz says, Buck, have some healthy snack in the middle of the night. Half a cup of cottage cheese, handful of nuts. Yeah, I usually have a yogurt with nuts or something like that. It's why I don't keep potato chips or any shit in my house, because I'll eat them in the middle of the night. Good morning, Katie. So sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and eat pussy. I know. Well, I wish I had the opportunity, but that's not always perfect. Yeah, yogurt is the best. Yogurt is the best snack. It's the best thing to have. Sometimes I'll put some protein powder in it. I want to talk real quick because I can already tell that it's going to go fast. Identity is important to everyone. Identity is important to everyone. Everyone has an identity. Everyone has an identity. So, what does that mean, identity politics? To me, it means that we have people telling us how to identify or why you can't identify that way. Who are these people? I need to say it again. Who are the people in this community who are telling us our own identities? Tori says, identity politics equals royal BS in my mind, and lettuce it is I am the identity police. You identify how best suits you. That is the exact definition of identity politics, but the other definition is fuck you. Because we don't need to be told how to identify. All of us know our identity, or are somehow seeking our own identity, or are somewhere on our path to seek our identity, but we are entitled to create our own identity. This idea that we have to follow a rule of identity is unbelievable to me. Sam says, I totally agree, Tori. People with nothing better to do. But, I like fuck you better. But, Whether or not they have nothing better to do or not, why are we letting people talk like this? Why are we letting people set rules in our community? Why are we letting people even make us say the word identity politics? Why is this happening uh, without any pushback? Why do we have no pushback? Elizabeth says, I have a friend in Australia that cannot stand labels of any kind. She was born male but considers herself female. Yeah, totally. Good morning, Rain. And that's okay. Tori says, the only identity I will assign to you, all human. The only identity is your identity. And if it's human, yes. Yes. Philip says, Scully, no Facebook yet, but in Spokane. Freeper says, like I said, I just identify as me and leave out as many labels as possible. That's you. Some people want to take on 500 labels. Go ahead. Some people want to say they're transgender one day, gender nonconforming the next day, fluid the next day. Whatever the situation is, who cares? Why do we care so much? I don't care how you identify. I really don't. I really don't care how you identify. Create your own identity. Be positive with it. It's hot again. Create. Uh-oh. Don't report me for nudity on Facebook. Someone's going to report me for nudity on Facebook. I think you guys should... hi, Jay. Everybody should get naked now. Everybody should get naked on Facebook, and we can all get reported together. And we can say the B Cup, everybody in the B Cup was naked today. So, Hope says, I recently met someone who sticky identifies as their name. Jay says, I was born female, identify as male, but I'm just me. Liz Buck, it's because the human mind needs boxes. I mean, I kind of think you're right there, Liz. Ray says, people need to stop being so concerned with other people. And Liz says, an accurate term that help the mind understands complexes. Yes, I agree with that. The human mind needs to see. That's why when we talk about misgendering, that's why we have to understand, why do people misgender? They misgender because they go on visuals. People visually see what? A cup of coffee. They would assume this is a cup of coffee. But how do you know I don't have tea in the cup? Everybody would assume today that I'm drinking my coffee, right? Because when you see it, when it walks in the room, what do you see? A cup of Buck's coffee. But what if this wasn't a cup of coffee? And what if it was, right, it could be vodka. What if this is a vodka, but you're calling it a coffee? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you're making an assumption. You're misrepresenting my cup of coffee. My cup of coffee is not really a cup of coffee. It's a cup of tea or booze. You understand what I'm saying? So if I walk in a room, people will automatically say that I'm he. They'll call me he, him, right? I'm he. But what if I really didn't identify as a he? And what if I identified as a she? But people don't see she. What do they see? Come on, let's be real here. They see he. But how do they know that I don't identify as he? How do they know that I identify as she? How do they know that? They do not know. I don't care. Unless you met them before and you had a conversation with them and they know. This is a blank room that I just walked in with a bunch of people. Every one of those people in that room are going to call me he. But I don't identify as he. I identify as she. Whose fault? Should I get angry? Or should I be, hold up. Actually, I'm a she. That's the only possible way to make this situation positive. Is not to get angry about it, because you are misleading other people. You are misleading other people because of the appearance. And it's real whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, you have shown people a masculinity, and people will make the assumption immediately that your masculinity is part of your identity, whether you like it or not. If you're dressed like this, people are going to make the assumption that you're a man. It's real. And I don't understand why we're not having that conversation. You think magically you can walk into a room like this and magically everybody will know your identity? Then you're fucking living in a fucking bubble. And you, my friend, are actually disrespectful. And you are actually making problems worse because you're not living in reality. And the reality is people don't know shit about gendering. They don't know anything about misgendering. They don't know shit about gender nonconforming. They don't know shit about theys and thems. That's only within our fucking community, people. The rest of the world doesn't know shit. How are we going to get them to know shit? Not by pushing. Not by pushing. Not by saying, you misgendered me. How dare you don't know that I'm a woman? How the fuck was I supposed to know you were a woman when you look masculine? Your voice is masculine. You present masculine. That's my thought. And I didn't do it maliciously. It's a normal human thing. A normal human thing that people see. Oh, I got somebody here. Right on. Jamie, Angel Rain says exactly. They can only go by what see until they correct themselves. Angel says the problem is when you correct someone, even politically, they tend to get offended. That's not your problem, Angel. Jamie says, of course they do. Even as a trans man myself, I will assume a person's gender by how they look. I apologize, of course, if I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm only human. Exactly. Liz says, Buck, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm being devil's advocate. What if the person is trying to be respectful and refers to the new person as they because that person doesn't know what the new person wants to be referred as, and then the new person gets offended by the term they? Exactly. What if? That's not devil's advocate. That's a good example. That's exactly what I'm talking about. How do I know you're a they? Unless you're wearing a t-shirt that says, please call me they. How do you know I'm a they? How do you know that? You don't know. That is such a new terminology. Brandy says there has to be more people in the world that see people as being beautiful, not as he or her. Brandy, 100%. Everybody agrees with that. But right now in 2017, people in the rest of the world do not understand it. They don't know it. They aren't exposed to it. It is our job, if we want everyone else in the world to catch up with our whole gender identity politics, to educate the world. They're not magically going to jump on board and know they, them, how to ask your gender pronoun. That's a fucking transgender thing. It is not a world thing. So you can't magically all of a sudden expect people to understand your gender when you are not actually physically presenting that gender, number one, or it's your responsibility to walk into a room and say, 1 second, I just want everybody to understand that my pronoun is a they. Done. You have to be responsible for your own self. You have to be responsible for your own self. It's not the other way around. Liz says, well, right, Janine, but I'm talking before the person meets the new person to Janine. Liz, yeah, but why do I have to ask? Why do I have to ask? Is it really my responsibility now that when I see a person, is it my responsibility when I see that person to say, hi, what's your gender pronoun? Is that really my responsibility? Tony says, I have always said assuming only makes an ass out of you and me. Key is communication. Liz says, it's in my own town. Buck, you're awesome. Hope to meet. Thank you, Jay. Rain says, if the person gets offended, you are what? Responsible for you. Fuck off. If you think you can be babied in the world like that, if you think you can be babied in the world like that, I think it's how is it not your responsibility, Brandy? How is it not my responsibility as a man right now? How is it not my responsibility when looking this way to walk the world today, not in 2030, today, walk the world, but I identify as she? How is it my, right? You have to understand people will never know I'm a she if I identify that way. They will not. They will not. They will not. So you have to understand this, and it makes you stronger. It makes you stronger to understand the way the world works in reality. You cannot expect everyone else to understand you until you express you. You cannot get angry if you present one way and people identify you as another. It is your responsibility to take care of you, not my responsibility. If I misgender you, most often it is not intentional. It would never be intentional. It would always be a mistake. And you have to look at, why are people continually misgendering me? Look at it. Soren says it's sad that we have to have these discussions. Each people should have the courage to set their own gender identity. You can't wait for the world to change. You have to change it. But that's the key. Soren, even to start your sentence with it's sad. It's not sad. It's a changing world. Everyone needs to understand that, and you'll get off of it's sad. Because it's not sad. It's actually really awesome. Do you realize the opportunities that we have right now to make positive change? Not to make angry change. You know, a lot of times things won't change when you're angry. Things won't change when you push. How dare you misgender me? I'm gender nonconforming and I'm this way, and fuck you for misgendering me. Holy shit. I'm so sorry, but what do you think you just did to the psyche of the person you misgendered? To you. What do you think the person who just got yelled at feels like? Because they totally accidentally made a mistake of misgendering. Right? That's what I'm talking about, and why I keep saying it is our responsibility. Julie says, you are responsible for you, in quotes. What a concept. Liz says, Soren, but these conversations need to be had, and it's not sad. Rachel says, some people get offended if you ask about their gender. Not your problem. First off, they keep flip-flopping. If they want respect, people who are not presenting as the gender they are, okay? If people are not presenting as the gender they want to be, people are going to misgender you. Stop babying everybody and stop acting like it's so offensive. It's not offensive. It sucks, and it's not meant to be offensive. People aren't doing that to be offensive. And I think that's the misguidance that we have started. People are not misgendering you purposely. Most of the time, they are not. Jeannie says, in my group, we are taught to introduce ourselves to a new person like this. Hi, I'm Janine, she or he. Yes, that's the new way to do it. But guess what, Janine? You live in a very specific place where people understand this politics. It's politics. The key to change is to express without offense. Tori says, there's a person I adore assigned male at birth and recently found the femme side. Now goes to using they and them because they have a beard but wear a dress and seem comfortable that way. Ha! Is that their right to please call me they and expect I will respect that, since it is exactly it. It's their obligation to make sure everybody knows that. Good morning, Cole. Nice to see you. Rain says, exactly. You're responsible to inform someone if you want them to address you in a certain way. It's good for you and good for them. Getting upset when someone you don't know misgenders you, you're not helping the problem. Tori says, my friend does not get mad if called he or she. They just correct. And that's what I would do. I'm going to say it again. I get misgendered. Nick says, when I first started medically transitioning, I was so insecure I would correct everyone, realizing the problem was with me. Because you understand you and you care. Freebird says, I would feel a little weird if someone asked me what your preferred gender pronoun is. It would make me feel weird. I'll correct people. Do you know that nobody ever asks me what my preferred pronoun is? Nobody. Why is that? I want to know why you think that is. Janine says, by the way, I'm a mama bear. Yay, mama bears. Amanda, I don't expect the southern rednecks of my town to get it right away. I look neutral, but I don't expect them to get it right away. And I honestly don't get angry when someone sees any gender over another. I'm just glad they simply treat me kindly. Amanda, exactly. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be able to change the world that way. Soren says, Buck, I understand that the world is changing. We all have to have the courage to change it. That's the key. Have the courage. Have the courage to know you. Right on. And without any obligation, you don't need validation. Just be you. That's why I hate calling it identity politics. What's that word, politics? Pete says, I get frustrated when recently out trans people have the idea that others will automatically embrace their identity. I have been out for more than 15 years. Nothing was given to me exactly. I had to educate. I had to explain. I had to define myself. I feel like newly out people have an expectation that people will just respect them. That's right on, Pete. That's 100% that. All of a sudden, this newer generation thinks the whole world understands transgender terminology. Fucking hell, they do. And that terminology is pretty much only in the United States. How egotistical of us. How fucking narcissistic and egotistical of us to assume that the rest of the world knows transgender language. Scully says, Nick, sweet, follow me. We should totally hang out sometime. Right on, kids. Take care of that. Rain says, unless it's intentional, then there's no reason to be upset. Even if it is, then address it without losing your shit. Also, intent and context. Intent, context. Remember, those are two very important words when it comes to words that are offensive to some people. Janine says, this is true. I live near Madison, Wisconsin, where it is very liberal. Haha, Janine, I'm suing the University of Madison, Wisconsin. Haha, I'm suing that university for not letting me come in to speak because somebody made an assumption that I don't use the right language. You understand? The University of Madison, Wisconsin. Ha, liberal my ass. What a bunch of babies. Baby school. How dare you shut my voice down? How dare you shut my voice down, students at the University of Madison, Wisconsin? How dare you don't want to be challenged? How dare you tell me how to talk? How dare you shut me out? You little baby, whiny little brats. How dare you think that going to a university means shutting out opposition because you don't want to be offended. You know that's why they stopped me from coming. After they booked me in a year in advance, signed a contract, had me coming, and little fucking whiny ass troll trans man wrote that I don't use the right language and that I am toxic masculinity. Go fuck yourself, University Madison, Wisconsin. I'm suing you. You're a bunch of boring, moronic, idiotic. How is that a school system? How are we teaching the youth to have any type of opinion? How are we teaching the youth to have a discussion? How are we teaching a newer generation to understand that your thoughts are okay and you don't have to believe what everybody else tells you? And you should be challenged every day. And they shut me out because, oh, Buck is way too controversial. Do you know that? It's ridiculous calling me a problematic activist. A problematic activist. Who are these children? Go look at the definition of activist. If an activist isn't problematic, you're not a fucking activist. Freebird says, how rude of them. You have come to my house instead. I will never, mark my words, and I say it here all the time, fuck off to the American universities. You will never get the privilege of having me stand on your stage ever again. You will never hear my voice in your university until you get your shit together. I won't even respect you. I cannot go to any university in this country. I go to all the universities across the world because they respect my opinion and they don't agree with my opinion, but they give me respect to hear where I'm coming from and in a sense challenge me and I challenge them back. It's called a conversation. You actually don't have conversations in school anymore. Did you know that? Did you know that? Shame on this fucking system. Shame on the way that we are actually teaching people to do things in this country. Shame on the way that we poke and feel and are so overly sensitive if somebody misgenders me. Grow the fuck up. Somebody's gonna misgender you for the rest of your fucking life, you baby. And if the only thing that sets you off and makes you feel so important is your fucking pronoun, I'm giving up. I'm giving up. Because that is so goddamn immature and so goddamn self-centered. Do you know that there's a whole other community out there? Do you know that there's a whole past of people who have made it possible for you today to even have the conversation of misgendering? Do you know that? Do you understand that? Angel says we're not, and that's half the problem with the youth and the new adults. We failed them. It's only problematic because they don't understand the message. Diana, their loss. Amanda says it's a failure of liberal teaching. I embrace a liberal identity as well as clearly I do, but I live in a real world. Fuck you for trying to force me to stand on a fence post and scream about gender when you don't have to live in the dangerous setting. Exactly, Amanda. They're creating this problem because there really isn't that many problems. I mean, of course there's problems for the new generation, but let's get real. It's nowhere near what I dealt with or what the people before me dealt with. They have zero respect for where they are today. They have zero respect for the amount of privilege. The fact that you can go into a school, go on Facebook, not like a speaker, make lies about the speaker to get the speaker pushed out is privilege. It's privilege. And it's a shameful thing. They are taking the word transsexual out of gender studies in a university. That's an actual real identity that started the transgender movement. How can you pluck out a piece of historical facts? How? And why? Because transsexual has become offensive to who? To who? What? Diana says they're not worth your time. But in a sense, they are worth my time. They are worth my time, Diana. You want to know why they're worth my time? Because that's the future of our community. And that's the future of our voice. And what the fuck? I'm scared that if we don't seriously have these conversations, they will take everything that is me and us and why we are here out of the equation, where we will never be able to use these situations again. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again. We are on a fucking slippery slope. If we let them keep pushing, we're going over, which means no way. I'm not letting them take transsexual from me. You can't take it from my dying cold hands. I'm holding on to transsexual. Yeah, and I see your point too, Diana. Walk away. But we can't walk away. I walked away too much, and every time I walk away, I see a bigger problem. I see a bigger problem. They have no right to do that, Jennifer, but they are. But they are, because nobody's fighting back. Nobody's fighting back. Only us on the B Cup? We're a small, little, tiny little group. Rain says, when I hear people saying they're offended, I just hear people that choose to be ignorant and scared. It is unbelievable. Stop getting offended by people. Stop it. Stop it. People can't offend you unless you let them offend you. People can't misgender you unless you let them misgender you. So what if they misgender you? Just correct them. It's so simple, and it's so awesome, and it's your opportunity to educate. You think you're magically just going to walk into this fucking community and say, I am a they. Whew. Magically, the world knows you're a they. You live in a fucking bubble. Get out of your bubble, walk the real world, and see if every person you walk to says they. Probably one person might say it in the whole day. Maybe one person. Doesn't that say something to you? Doesn't that say, as a they person, oh, wait a minute, the world doesn't understand they. It's my responsibility to start to educate so that eventually when I walk the world, everyone will know I'm a they. If you're a they, if you're a gender nonconforming, if you're a person who is not presenting as a gender, you must also take responsibility in educating the world. It's not my responsibility. I walk the world as a man. Everyone knows I'm a man. What's my responsibility is to talk about me and my male body and why I have a vagina as a man. And I stepped up to the plate. I stepped up to the plate to educate the world every fucking day about me, about why I chose to be a man as a man with a vagina. I take that on every day. Do you know how many fucking people I educate daily about being a man with a vagina? Because it's my responsibility. If I want people to respect me as a man with a vagina, it's my responsibility to walk around naked in my locker room and tell everybody, yes, it's a vagina. And yes, I'm a man. And I take that on because I believe it's my responsibility. It's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to do shit. I don't care what you do. But what I do care is this. Stop bitching and whining if people don't get your identity. Get them to get your identity. Stand up on your own fucking 2 feet. Take your own identity responsibility. Stop shirking it off on me and everybody else. And stop being a baby when somebody misgenders you. That is fucking ridiculous. You have become such little teeny... Oh, wait a minute though. Want to make sure I'm not triggering you. Am I triggering you because I'm telling you the fucking truth? Grow up. Yeah, if I'm triggering you, bing, shut it off now. Go over, smoke some CBD, and chill out. But I will trigger you every day if you're hearing something that you need to hear. Either you're going to be triggered or you're going to fucking hear it from me and you're going to go, bing, I got it. I'm not responsible for your gender. I'm not responsible for your identity. I'm not responsible for educating for you. I'm only responsibility to educate for myself and what I want the world. And I've done it. For 17 fucking years I've done it. With my porn, with my fucking toys, with my voice, with my vagina. So don't tell me, they misgendered me. Grow up. We've created a fucking world of little teeny fucking babies. I'm not part of that. I refuse to be part of that. I'm tough love Trampaw. I'm tough love Trampaw. You will love me for it. I guarantee you. In 5 years, you're going to come back and say, thank you, Trampaw. I needed that goddamn kick in the ass. I'm real. I come from realness, kids. I don't come from this little... I better not say anything because you might get upset. Fuck you. Get upset. Get upset. Be angry. It's okay. But be angry in a positive way. Dan says, if you look like a man on the surface but identify as a woman, it's your responsibility to educate when misgendered. Not get upset about it. It's a walk you'll have the rest of your life. Oh, it's simple. Thank you, Dan. Libby says, personally, I couldn't care less which pronoun people use with me. But if it's someone does something intentionally, intent and context. If someone knows that you're a woman and they're calling you a man, they're an asshole and a dick, and it has nothing to do with that conversation. That's because they're intentionally. I'm talking about naturally. But you're right about that. Alexander says, we have the responsibility to be better human beings. Smash said, how do we cope before the term triggered was coined? Where did trigger come from? Talk about a victim blanket. Trigger is a victim blanket. Trigger has been taken out of context. Trigger has been taken from a very important thing and put as a blanket statement. That means they weakened trigger. Trigger is a real thing. It's not something that we're just playing with. It's a real thing. Like hormones, like surgery, like taking the next step. It's not a joke. Rain says, own your identity. Stop expecting people to automatically know what you want. Stop being offended and be responsible. Really, the bottom line of our discussion today is you are responsible for you. Liz says, smash. There were other terms, of course, and longer terms. I love you, Buck. Tough love. Tough love, Trampaw. It's real, kids. I don't care. I mean, I care. What I mean is I care about you. I care about you, which means that I will speak how I feel. If you don't like it, you don't have to come and you don't have to hear Trampaw. It's totally cool. I'm here. If you decide one day I'm triggering you and you need to shut it off, shut it off. And you decide the next day I need to hear some of Trampaw's wisdom. It's just wisdom. It's what I know from my life. It's what I know from every day. I put it here to share it with you. Not because of my ego, not because I need to be on Facebook, and not because I love you. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? I don't need to be here. I love you. I care about you. I want you to have what I have, which is freedom beyond belief. So much freedom, I can't even begin to show it to you. If you spent a day with me and we walked the streets, you would see my freedom. And you would see I have no fear of anything. How do I get you to understand you can have that too? By talking to you about how I did it. Eat cake? I wish. I love cake. Alex says you are responsible for educating people about yourself, and that's it. Cole says when my kids get misgendered, I get mad. I correct them, but as for myself, I correct them, and they're gonna get misgendered. I got misgendered as a kid. I looked like a little boy, and I was a little girl, and everyone used to call me a boy. Remember, face people. Human beings see things. They see a cup of coffee. How do you know it's a cup of coffee? You're assuming it's a cup of coffee. You're assuming it's a cup of coffee. That's the same with misgendering. You're making assumptions. Everyone makes assumptions. It's human to make assumptions. Humans make assumptions. Okay? It's just the way we are wired. Soren says, the other day I confronted a man in the restroom. He was looking in the stall. He asked me why I sit. I challenged him and asked him if he was a proctologist or a urologist. If not, then get out of my face. Why was he asking that? I've never had a man ask me that. That's so weird. But right on, my friend. We identify Dan with what we see on the surface. Tori says, Soren, so what if you sit? I know many men who sit. I know so many men who sit. Amanda says, I'm a responsible member of my community first and foremost. I'm considered a little weird, sure, but I'm respected because I do for others in my neighborhood. Eventually, they learn about my status. Become a responsible member of society first. The rest will follow. Thank you, Amanda. It's so true. Rochelle says, raises my cup to Joe to Buck's rant of the day. Rant of the day. Maybe we should call this the rant of the day. It is. It's my rant because I want to rant. Angel says, I used to growing up when people called me a boy. I knew I was trans from a very young age, that actually knowing it was acting due to the lack of educating. Education. Nikki says, my friend told me to watch you because I recently came out of F to M trans. And while I want to keep my vagina, I need a role model like you, Tramp. I was afraid of now I'm opening up and getting tougher every day. Everyone love Nikki. Congratulations, Nikki. We love seeing you here. I'm a little rough, Nikki. I'm a little rough. I'm tough love Trampaw. So sit down and get your coffee. Participate with us, Nikki. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to agree, disagree, to agree. You're allowed to challenge my thought process. We encourage that here. If you have questions, if you don't agree, do it. This is what the B Cup is about. We are reclaiming our space to have our opinions. We are reclaiming and we are refocusing on the way we want to be, not the way you want us to be. Liz says, love you all the time for me to get ready for work. Right on. Love you guys. Okay, so here we go. I did my rant. We got to go from YouTube, and I got to go. It's 9:30, kids. Wow. Here in Los Angeles. I love you guys on YouTube. Thank you for always coming and joining me. You know, I do YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Have a beautiful day. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Create, okay? And create, because I love you, and that's how we move forward in the world.